Has this ever happened to you? You give a man your time, your attention, your emotional energy, hoping to build something real, only for him to pull away. At first, he's interested. He seems captivated. But then, almost without warning, the tide turns. He grows distant, distracted. Suddenly you're not special anymore, just another option in a sea of possibilities. And there you are, staring into the emotional void he left behind. Frustrated, confused, powerless. The harder you try, the more he retreats. The more effort you invest, the more you feel it's all slipping through your fingers. You might even ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Maybe you've tried everything. You've worn the mask of the perfect girlfriend, the passionate lover who knows what he wants before he even says it. You've been understanding, patient. You've given him second chances, third chances, even 10th chances. You've explained away his coldness, rationalized his emotional detachment, transformed his tiny crumbs of affection into grand romantic gestures in your mind, just to keep believing there's something real there. And yet, nothing. He remains an enigma, a riddle you can't solve, a man who always seems just about to surrender his heart, but never quite does. But today, at Mentalida Diodare, we're not going to sugarcoat the truth. You're about to uncover something that might shake the very foundation of what you believe about attraction. It's a raw, unfiltered reality that could forever transform your relationships with men. Are you ready? The truth is this. It's not about your efforts, your kindness, or your love. It's about the male ego. This powerful yet delicate force inside every man is not swayed by sweet words or desperate loyalty. It doesn't awaken because you try harder. It reacts instinctively to what you make him feel. And here lies your untapped power. When you know exactly how to pull the emotional strings that stir his deeper psyche, you gain the ability to shift how he sees you completely. You can ignite a craving in him so intense it catches even him off guard. You can become the woman he thinks of day and night, the one he longs for with urgency and hunger, and you can do it without chasing, pleading, or lowering your worth. Sound manipulative? It's not. This isn't about playing games or feeding toxic narcissism. It's about understanding the male mind from a place of inner strength and psychological insight, like a woman grounded in her presence, calmness, and emotional intelligence. Man's ego doesn't work like a woman's desire for recognition or emotional depth. At the core, men crave something different, something primal. They want to feel irreplaceable. They yearn to be chosen above all others. They long for validation that confirms their dominance, power, and desirability. Inside every self-assured man is still a boy who wants to feel admired. Every compliment, every admiring glance feeds this inner need, and every moment you seem emotionally dependent, that only swells his ego further. That's why, paradoxically, the more predictable you become, the less magnetic you seem. He loses interest when he knows exactly what you'll say or how you'll react. But here's the twist. That very predictability, your attempts to be constant, safe, and understanding, is what dulls his emotional senses. And ironically, this is where his vulnerability lies. This is where you hold the greatest power. Few women realize this, fewer still apply it. If you, with calm wisdom and quiet strength, interrupt that endless stream of praise and emotional certainty he expects from you, if you stop serving your admiration on a silver platter, you create something unexpected. You'll leave him in the dark. Suddenly, he can't feel your approval. Your warmth has vanished. Your attention, once always there, is now missing. This absence stirs something within him, a spark, a gnawing need to reclaim that feeling of being special. And right there, in that emotional vacuum, the seeds of obsession begin to grow. Every time you chase him after he pulls away, every time you over-explain, beg, or prove how much he means to you, you're not winning him back. You're simply feeding his ego more. And here's the harshest truth. An inflated ego doesn't fall in love. It basks in dominance. It thrives on your submission. It becomes addicted, not to you, but to the power you surrender. Like a man high on emotional control, he keeps coming back for more of that feeling, but never to give more in return. And the more you give, the less he values you, because you've shown him you're willing to lower your worth for his validation. That cycle must end. To truly captivate a man, you must reverse the dynamic. You must become the prize, the enigma he can't solve. The woman who leaves him constantly questioning whether he still holds any significance in your heart. Is he still powerful in your eyes, or have you moved beyond him? And how do you make this shift? How do you stop being the one in pursuit and become the one being pursued? With 3 devastatingly effective tools of emotional psychology. Emotional scarcity, selective silence, strategic withdrawal. Men, despite what society tells you, don't fall for predictable, endlessly accommodating women. They fall for emotional intensity. The high-stakes unpredictability of a woman they can't fully grasp or control. Think about it. How often have you ever witnessed this? A man fiercely chasing after a woman who mistreats him, while completely overlooking another woman who would willingly give him everything, her time, her loyalty, her heart. At first glance, it seems irrational, almost like emotional masochism. But there's something much deeper at play here. This isn't self-sabotage. It's primal psychology. In the depths of his unconscious mind, his instincts are making associations. To his primitive brain, challenge equals value. If something, or someone, is too easy to get, it simply can't be worth that much. That's the harsh truth behind many male behaviors that seem inexplicable. We're not talking here about endorsing toxicity or playing mind games. This isn't about creating drama or acting out. It's about mastering emotional unpredictability, applied with intention and precision. It's about disrupting the cycle of predictable reactions and breaking the patterns he subconsciously expects. Because every time he pulls away or becomes cold, and you respond with heightened neediness, with chasing, pleading, or trying to win him back, what happens? His interest continues to fade. Worse still, he begins to feel complete control over the emotional dynamic. But imagine this instead. The very moment he withdraws emotionally, without warning, without explanation, you walk away, quietly, firmly. You carry yourself with an energy that says, "My world does not orbit around you." No tears, no dramatic goodbye, just calm, unapologetic absence. And then, something shifts. He enters a silent emotional panic. He won't show it on the outside, but internally, the cracks begin to form. He starts wondering, what just happened? Did she stop caring? Has she moved on? Is someone else in the picture? His mind, so accustomed to emotional control, suddenly finds itself spinning. You've changed the rules, and he no longer knows how to win. That internal imbalance? That's where obsession begins. Every man craves being desired. It's embedded in his emotional DNA, but no man wants to feel like he already owns you, like you're guaranteed, locked in, his forever. That certainty kills his drive. Here's the paradox. The more secure you feel in having him, the less attractive you become to him, and the more secure he feels in having you, the less he invests in maintaining the connection. It's a brutal but real emotional cycle, and the only way to escape it is to realize something vital. True power in a relationship is not requested or begged for. It is naturally radiated. So, how do you play this dangerous but beautiful balancing act? With subtlety, with grace, with mastery. Yes, you show him interest, but just enough. Just enough to pique his curiosity, to spark that fire. Never so much that he feels he's become the center of your world. Your affection must be measured, precise. Never desperate. When the conversation is flowing, when the connection is strong, be the one who ends it. Cut the call, leave the room, walk away. while the moment is still sweet. Why? Because leaving him wanting more is a powerful move against his ego and his desire to maintain control. Do not let him dictate the rhythm of your interactions. You must decide when you're available. You must set the pace of the relationship. Now, imagine a scenario. He sends you a vague, lukewarm text, one of those ambiguous messages that could mean anything or nothing. Maybe he's just testing your reaction. Most women fall into the trap. They overthink. They reply too soon. They seek clarity. What the confident woman? She pulls back. She doesn't chase clarity where there's no effort. She doesn't panic. She might leave the message unanswered for hours, or respond in a way that is polite but emotionally neutral. Not because she's playing games, but because she possesses emotional sovereignty. This seemingly small reaction shakes him. Why? Because it breaks his pattern. He expected concern, maybe insecurity. Instead, he receives indifference. He expected you to chase, but you didn't even seem to notice the bait. That silence, that deliberate, controlled silence, it's one of the most powerful weapons in your arsenal. Want to live rent-free in his mind? Then be silent. Exactly when he expects you to speak. When he's waiting for an explanation, offer none. When he withholds validation, don't go chasing it. Simply withdraw with elegance and composure. Because silence has a force that words can never replicate. He's grown used to your voice, your attention, your presence. When that disappears suddenly and without warning, it leaves a void. And in that deafening quiet, his thoughts rush in, questions, doubts, fears. He begins to ask himself what changed, what he lost, and whether it's too late to reclaim it. And here's the twist. This isn't silence provoked by his actions. It's intentional silence, created by you. That's what makes it so unsettling. You're not reacting, you're directing. Suddenly he's the one feeling unbalanced. He's the one unsure. And in this sudden awareness of a possible, unexplained loss, his ego suffers a blow. That blow shakes his emotional stability and causes him to reevaluate everything. And this specific feeling, this fear of losing you without ever fully having you, can penetrate deeper than 1,000 emotional pleas. It lodges in his mind. It makes him think of you at odd hours. It draws him in. And ironically, it makes him desire you more than ever before. A man may be able to resist logic. He might ignore declarations of love. But he cannot ignore a woman who moves with quiet, unwavering emotional direction. A woman who radiates power in her silence. A woman who doesn't tremble at his withdrawal. Who doesn't dance to his moods. Who doesn't seek his approval just to feel complete. Your presence must radiate absolute self-control, a powerful silence that speaks louder than 1,000 words. There's a kind of energy that doesn't beg to be noticed, doesn't shout for attention, yet is impossible to ignore. It's the quiet magnetic force of a woman who focuses on herself, her growth, her mission, her path, not on chasing a man. And when she moves through life with this unshakable certainty, something ancient stirs deep inside a man's psyche. His primal instincts awaken. Why? Because he can sense that he's not in front of an ordinary woman. No, he's facing someone exceptional, someone untouchable, someone who won't fall prey to the common tactics, the emotional games he's used to playing. He knows, instinctively, that this kind of woman doesn't settle, doesn't cling, and cannot be tamed. Never forget this. A man doesn't become obsessed with the woman who showers him with unconditional affection like a servant, bending herself in every direction to please him. He doesn't crave the one who gives too easily, too soon. He becomes obsessed with the one who remains an elegant, emotional mystery. A woman he has to earn. A woman he could lose if he doesn't rise to meet her. And yet many women fall into the trap. They try to convince him that they're good enough, that they'd make great partners, that they deserve his attention. But every time you explain, every time you plead or prove, you unknowingly hand over your power, You inflate his ego and, paradoxically, reduce your value in his eyes. It's as if you're silently whispering, "Please see me. Please value me." And though you never utter those words, your actions shout them for you. In every over-apologetic message, every late-night call, every emotional outburst. But here's the harsh truth. A man never values what he is begged to appreciate. He only values what he fears he might lose. Respect, admiration, true desire, these are not things you kneel for. They're not granted through tears or self-sacrifice. They are evoked, sparked by subtle cues, by strategic silence, calculated withdrawal, and a scarcity of emotional validation. Let him feel that unmistakable contrast, the sting between thinking he had you and realizing he most definitely doesn't. Finally, let him feel the weight of absence. Let him observe in silence that your world isn't just surviving without him, it's thriving. Let him feel the quiet ache of doubt, the heavy regret as he wonders whether you've genuinely moved on. Even if, deep down, you're still watching everything unfold from afar, with the calm control of a woman who knows exactly what she's doing. This might be the hardest part for many women, to let him witness your growth without him. But trust this, that's what breaks him. Not your anger, not your words. It's the undeniable fact that you shine brighter when you're no longer orbiting his shadow. It's the realization that his absence didn't weaken you, it sharpened you. And that stings his ego like nothing else. No need for confrontation. No need for accusations. Let your actions speak with clarity. Let your progress make the loudest noise. Physically, take care of your health and appearance. Mentally, sharpen your mind, heal your emotions. Professionally, excel in your goals. Socially, go out, meet people, live fully. Let him see that your life is full. Even if he doesn't see it directly, let the whispers reach him that you're around vibrant people, that you're being noticed, that your presence is lighting up other rooms now, but not with arrogance and not with artificial displays. Simply live in your truth. Let your energy say, "I'm not waiting for you to choose me. I've already chosen myself." Invest in yourself like you are your most sacred project, because you are. Every single day, you don't nurture yourself. You empower the old version of you, the version who once begged for his attention. But the new you? She doesn't need approval. She radiates strength. She's magnetic. She's captivating. She's the kind of woman he regrets letting go. When a man senses that you're no longer circling his universe, no longer placing him at the center of your emotional world, something breaks in him. He starts comparing, not because you said anything, but because your energy has changed. You're no longer available in the same way. You're no longer easy to reach. Suddenly, his ego spirals. He starts to desire what he no longer owns. The validation he once consumed so easily has disappeared. His pride, now wounded, seeks to restore itself. And an ego in crisis? It becomes desperate. It will say or do anything to recapture the power it once held over you. Because when that validation dries up, the very foundation of his control begins to crumble. Every relationship, even the most intense, eventually falls into a rhythm, a repetitive choreography. He does something cold, you react. He disappears, you chase. Over time, it becomes predictable, boring, stagnant. Your mission? To break that pattern, disrupt the script, shatter the rhythm he expects. He acts distant, ignores your messages. Don't respond with panic. Don't fall into the trap. Instead, remain poised. Stay focused on your life. Let his coldness bounce off the unshakable walls of your inner peace. He sends vague messages or attempts to make you jealous. Don't flinch. Don't bite. Respond with such graceful indifference that it almost feels insulting. as if his little games barely registered on your radar, as if they mean nothing to you. He throws guilt your way, subtly laced with emotional manipulation. He wants to pull on your empathy, to spark a reaction that places you right back under his emotional control. But you don't play along anymore, not this time. You see through it now. When he tries to blackmail you emotionally, you remain calm, unmoved. You don't justify yourself and you don't explain. You hold your ground, not with anger, but with unwavering presence. He comes around only when it's convenient for him. He reaches out when it suits his mood, not when you need him. And for too long you may have made yourself available without question. But that's changed. Now, when you stop responding on cue, when you no longer move to the rhythm he's used to conducting, something shifts. You break the choreography. And in that break, he loses the emotional upper hand. Slowly, almost inevitably, he finds himself responding to your rhythm, not the other way around. The dynamic reverses. You're no longer trying to keep his attention. He's trying to figure out how he lost yours. With every moment of strategic indifference and quiet self-possession, it's as if you've taken the remote control of the relationship into your own hands. You decide when there is closeness and when there is space. You control when a moment calls for intensity and when it requires peace. This shift leaves him disoriented, unsure, and deeply intrigued. When you finally gain full control of your emotions, when you stop needing his attention as though it were the air you breathe, something extraordinary begins to happen. It's almost like emotional alchemy. Frustrated and fascinated, he starts to realize something profound. You're the one woman he cannot manipulate, cannot emotionally command, cannot read like the others. That drives him mad. In his mind, he's always had the upper hand. He's used to being the one who dictates emotional flow, the one who makes women chase, compromise, submit. But now, for the first time, he's face to face with someone immune to his usual patterns, and that loss of control begins to eat away at his sense of dominance. It disrupts his inner equilibrium. He becomes restless, emotionally unsettled. That very tension, that unsatisfied need for resolution, is what binds him to you in the deepest way. You become his unsolvable riddle, his echoing melody, his silent obsession. Not because you played games, not because you created chaos, but because you became unreadable. You turned your calm into a mystery. You became strategically absent, deliberately indifferent. And in that space, his mind can't stop spinning. Remember this well. A man can resist your most persuasive words. He can tune out 100 logical arguments, but he cannot ignore the emotional vacuum created by your silence. When you refuse to respond with desperation, when you don't engage his tactics with predictable emotions, you speak louder than any monologue ever could. Don't punish him with anger. Don't confront him with explanations. Don't hand over your blueprint. Just disappear strategically from his emotional radar. And while you're gone, don't wait. Don't watch. Work on yourself as if your very life depends on it. Because in many ways, it truly does. This isn't just about him anymore. It's about you, your worth, your evolution, your freedom. During this quiet transformation, something else happens. You don't just become more attractive to him, you become more radiant to the world. Your self-worth breaks free from his recognition. Your joy is no longer tied to his responses. Your sense of value no longer ebbs and flows with his attention. And if, eventually, he reaches out again, and he will, it must be with genuine interest, with real intention. And when he does, he finds a woman far more powerful than the one he left behind. You return not with eagerness, but with elegance. Not with longing, but with magnetic emotional distance. That's the dangerous combination. The one that makes him dream of you, crave you, even chase you, without understanding why. Because by then you'll be on a higher plane of awareness, a place of calm strength and inner clarity. And if you can make a man feel, without a single word, that he can't control you, can't predict your emotions, and can never be entirely sure where he stands with you, something powerful awakens in him. A drive, a deep-seated urge to prove himself, to win your attention back, not because of pride, but because of need. You've become more than just another woman in his past. You've become a permanent resident in his thoughts, an invisible force tugging at him from within. That, my dear, is power, true power. The power of a woman who has mastered her own mind and, through that mastery, gained control over the emotional landscape of the connection. And here comes the most important truth of all. Once you've arrived at this level of internal power, once you've mastered your emotional state with this degree of clarity and strength, it no longer matters if he falls in love with you or gets lost in thoughts of you, because you have found something infinitely more precious. Your own unshakable power, your own unconditional worth, your unwavering ability to create a life that fulfills you without needing to be seen, validated, or chosen. So hold on to one truth above all else. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to beg anyone for love. The true magic lies in being the woman who is desired emotionally, not because she demanded it, but because she left just enough silence, just enough space to awaken his fear of losing her. That's the moment the shift happens. That's when he starts to chase, to question his own choices, to regret taking you for granted. And what's most astonishing, you don't even have to lift a finger. Without a word, without a step in his direction, the desire is born inside him, fueled not by your presence, but by your absence. His ego bruised, his pride rattled, he becomes the one who needs you. Let me repeat this, because you must not forget it. This isn't manipulation, it's not deception, it's psychological awareness. It's understanding how the male ego functions, and more broadly, how the human ego reacts to loss, to distance, to uncertainty. It's the conscious decision to stop feeding dysfunctional patterns, to stop pouring your energy into someone who only responds to your submission and predictability. You don't need to keep proving yourself. You don't need to chase validation. He must feel at a deep and visceral level that if he doesn't see your value, respect your presence, and invest in the connection, you will walk away. And when he finally feels that, when your silence stings, when your distance becomes undeniable, when your absence feels heavier than your presence ever did, then, and only then, will he begin to seek you with new urgency. He will truly appreciate you. He may even become obsessed with you. But by that time, you'll already be on a whole new level. The level of self-awareness and inner strength where his obsession no longer defines you.